question whether Americans are to be free men or slaves. Our cruel and unrelenting enemy leaves us only the choice of brave resistance or the most abject submission. We have, therefore, to resolve to conquer or die.
Watch them fight and die in the name of freedom. They speak of liberty and justice, but for who?
One of the most anticipated titles in gaming history. Now, in this 4-part series, get an inside look on the making of this truly revolutionary game. Inside the process of the creative team, the designers, writers, artists, and animators who brought it to life.
That's what we need. It's going to be like a cloud of smoke.
Inside the technical breakthroughs that made it all possible. And inside the American Revolution, with interviews from war historians.
There was a slaughter on the ground.
Soldiers.
It's guerrilla warfare.
And weapons experts.
They would use their weapon in whatever way they could.
Who show us just how brutal the war really was. This is Inside Assassin's Creed 3.
I don't think people realize how big an undertaking it is, how many people it takes to sort of achieve the level of quality and scope that we have.
Assassin's Creed 3 is a big scale game. The amount of things that are produced per day, that are developed per day, it's amazing.
The team has grown to be several hundred people in 5 studios around the world, all of them working on really specific elements, so the amount of work is just staggering.
And
total, it's over 30 hours of gameplay, and we have 2.5 hours of cinematics, which is as much as any major length movie, or even more.
We have an amazing team on AC3. Everyone's super passionate about the project.
When we started AC3, we knew it had to be big and ambitious and different.
It's very rare in your career that you get an opportunity to try and go for the gold medal, and we really felt like this was our shot at it. A lot of tired people on the floor right now, but a lot of happy, tired people. We've always tried to pick exciting periods in history and drop the player in, so they're exploring that time as well as our fictional story.
Make ready. Present.
The American Revolution was a very pivotal time because the concept of self-government as opposed to being governed by royals, it was very radical for the era.
It's a great setting for a game because there's high stakes. It was the founding of a nation. It was a time when an individual could make a difference. It was all or nothing. They had to win or die.
The Revolutionary War was an incredibly brutal experience.
This is something you just don't really hear about in the history books, and something we wanted to bring to life in the game.
Connor is our new hero in Assassin's Creed 3. He's half British, half Mohawk. He's humble and more grounded to nature type of person.
We did a lot of research into Native American culture. We've recorded dialogue in their native language.
Excellent. I loved it.
And we've tried very hard to reflect their culture as accurately as possible.
His name, Radun Hagedum, it refers to a life that is scratched, meaning that he had to struggle to survive.
Connor, as a hero, is someone who sees himself as a defender of the people.
He's more inclined to justice than revenge.
One thing to declare our independence. Now, my friend, we must make it so.
Connor's goal is to assassinate key historical figures at major battles, at major events during the Revolution.
He's a stealth operator. He can come out and viciously make a great kill, then blend right back in.
If George Washington would have had Connor on his team, he wouldn't have needed many other people.
Anvil Next is an engine that gives us the possibility to do things that were not possible to do before.
The weather system, the seasons, the formable snow, bigger worlds in general, the ocean. It's the sum of 3 years of improvements that we've built upon.
Brand new navigation system, brand new combat system, 2,500 characters on screen at any one time, being able to cut through interiors in the city. Anvil Next is a massive leap forward in terms of gameplay opportunities.
Cliffs, trees, climbable stuff, the water, that was pretty exciting but also very challenging.
We've got the frontier. As well, we've got two of our major cities, Boston and New York.
Once we dug up maps from the period, we tried to match street for street or major avenue for major avenue. We recreated Boston and New York at about 1:3 scale.
We set out with crazy ambitions for this game, and with Anvil Next, it brings the experience to a whole new level.
The fascinating thing for us is that we can bring history to life. We can actually make it a place that's explorable and vibrant and real. We hope we're offering by far the biggest and best Assassins yet.
Next time on Inside Assassin's Creed 3, combat, weapons, and tactics.
American tactics were really frowned upon by the British.
He's trained in a very different style of fighting to the British soldiers.
Connor is essentially the first guerrilla fighter.
Used to be when people talked about the end of the world, we locked them up. Or laughed them off. Sometimes both. But we never took them seriously. Maybe we should have. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Better to start at the beginning, with the abduction of Desmond Miles, my son. This boy had no ambition, no direction, no plans for the future. What he did have was a heritage, one he chose to deny. It nearly cost him his life. He was captured and imprisoned. Those who took him believed he could help them find something. The apple. One of several artifacts we call pieces of Eden. Bits of ancient technology scattered across the globe. Some hidden, some found, all of them dangerous. Most are held by a single group, the same group that now had Desmond. You know them as Abstergo Industries. We know them as the Templars, as the enemy. We've been fighting them for thousands of years, even longer if you believe the stories of their origins. I do. After all, I've seen the truth. That's the beauty and the horror of the Animus. A device that allows us to enter and experience the lives of our ancestors. It holds the power to change everything, to show us history the way it really happened. Up until its creation, to the victor went the spoils, went the truth. We're trying to fix that, to free minds and bodies both. But there's only so much that we can do, and the Templars have the upper hand these days. But something larger than the Assassins and Templars is approaching, bigger than all of us. And if we can't find a way to stop it, these next few weeks will probably be our last. Everyone's last. In the end, it all comes down to him. To Desmond. Through the Animus, he discovered his heritage, explored the lives of his ancestors, and uncovered their secrets. When that was done, he trained. He used another ancestor to provide decades of experience in the span of a few days. It worked. We think. We hope. Soon, though, soon we'll know. That ominous date fast approaches, December 21st, 2012. None of us knows what it'll bring, only that this is where they want us to be, when it does. They've been guiding us in their own fractured, frustrating way. These voices from the first civilization, the ones who came before, a precursor race of immense power and uncertain motives. They're the ones who made the pieces of Eden. This is where they've led him, and through him, us. He stands at the entrance to this long-lost place, armed with the knowledge of Altair and the abilities of Ezio. He holds in his hands the apple of Eden, and we stand at his side, ready to support him however we can. His name is Desmond Miles, and he has brought us to the end. We're here. Let's go.
In another moment, down went Alice after it, never once considering how in the world she was to get out again.
I think we're here.
The key. You must find the key.
Son?
Sir.
Here we go again.
Desmond?
Do you hear us?
Yeah. What happened?
The temple triggered a bleeding effect. You collapsed and entered into a fugue state.
So naturally, you dropped me into the Animus instead of, I don't know, making sure I was okay?
You weren't in any danger. Besides, the temple appeared to be communicating with you, and I didn't want to risk severing the connection. At least not until we knew what it wanted.
Right. Of course.
Son,
No, it's fine. I get it. And I know what I'm looking for, by the way. It's a key. Just no idea where it is, though. Guess that's why she triggered the bleeding effect.
She?
Juno, Dad. She's talking to me.
Okay, Desmond. While you were, visiting Constantinople, we picked up a software update for the Animus. I'd like to run a couple of quick tests, make sure there aren't any major issues.
All right. What do you need me to do?
We'll start simple. Walk to the marker over there. Okay, Desmond. Let's practice climbing on these objects. Run your way through this little obstacle course. That's a constraint. These are optional objectives that raise your synchronization rate. All right, Desmond. Follow the on-screen instructions and kill the 2 Templars. All you have to do here is jump the gap. Synchronization levels look good now. We should be able to build the world. Time to find out what the temple wants from you.
Sir? Sir? Everything all right, sir?
Yes, fine. I'm just preoccupied, that's all.
Don't forget your invitation. Master Birch will be meeting you inside.
Thank you.
Where shall I retrieve you once you're done?
Front of the Opera House. And be quick about it. Don't expect to be here long.
I'll bring her round at once.
Invitation, please. Shall I take your coat, sir?
Ladies and gentlemen, you are requested to kindly find your seats.
Good evening, sir. This way, please.
My apologies.
Evening, Hatham.
Reginald?
I can't tell you how happy I was to hear they'd mounted this revival. Gay's best work by far. Have you seen it before?
Once. My father brought me here as a child. Though I remember little of it. I don't suppose tonight will afford me the luxury of a proper viewing either.
No, I'm afraid it won't. On to business, then. Do you see him?
And the statesman, because he's so great, thinks his trade as honest as mine.
He's seated in one of the boxes above.
The stairs are watched. You'll need to find another way up.
So is mine. Like me too.
I already have.
Double capacity, both against roads and for them. For 'tis but fitting that we should protect and encourage cheats, since we live by them.
Sir, Black Mall, that sick word of trial comes on in the afternoon.
1,000 pardons. So sorry. My apologies.
As the wench is very active and industrious, you may satisfy that I'll soften the evidence.
Tom Gag, sir, is found guilty.
A lazy dog. When I took him the time before, I told him what would come to if he did not mend his hand. This is death without reprieve. I may mention a book. Poor Tom Gag. £40. Let Betty Sly know I'll save her from the transportation. So I can get more by her staying in.
Betty hath brought more goods into our loft here than any private a day. And in truth, 'tis a pity to lose so good a customer.
If none of the gang take her off, she may, in the common course of business, live at 12 months longer. I love to let women stay. A good sportsman always thinks the end of partridge's fly was the breed the game depends on. Besides, here the law allows us no reward. There's nothing to be got by the death of women, except our wives.
Without dispute, she is a fine woman, because you are always obliged to find and woman that seduces all mankind, like her we first were taught our evening arts. A very nice gift when those she's gone. She tricks us of our money with her heart. Woman that seduces all mankind, like her we first were taught our evening arts. A very nice gift when those she's gone. She tricks us of our money with our hearts. Over like wolves by night, we rouse for pride and practice every course to go
But make haste and you get boy. And let me friends know where I intend. For I love to make them easy one way or other.
The gentleman is long kept in suspense. Penitence may break his spirit ever after. Besides, certainty gives a man a good air upon his trial, and makes him risk another without fear or scruple. But all away, for 'tis a pleasure to be the messenger of comfort to
I've
friends
got a
and
bit of
affliction.
stage fright.
A little Dutch courage up at the balloon cheek.
About me for a decent execution against. I ain't a lazy rogue by whom one can get nothing till he's hanged. I register of the gang. Crook-fingered Jack. A year and a half in the service. Let me see how much the stock goes to his industry.
Jeremy's really burning up the boards tonight. He's a marvel.
5 gold watches. And 7 silver ones. A mighty clean-handed fellow. 16 snuff boxes, 5 of them true gold, 6 dozen of handkerchiefs, 4 silver hilted swords, half a dozen of shirts, 3 tie periwigs, and a piece of broadcloth. Considering these are only the...
Haytham. You should have come to me. We would have found another way.
Yes. But then you would have known. For what it's worth, I'm sorry.
As am I.
Side balcony! Hurry!
Come, please!
Over there! That's the one that did the murder!
That man there! Seize him! A man was killed in the upper balcony.
Oh, my!
I searched him. Any weapons?
I beg your pardon.
Did they find the
Patience, please! Let us through!
Order! We must have order!
Peace, friends! There is no danger!
Try to remember. Be careful.
I can't get out of here fast enough.
It happened right in that balcony. What are those men doing in there?
I'm staying where it's safe.
Order! We must
Move!
have order!
Imbecile!
Where are you going?
I need to get out. Too close in here. I must get some air.
And how was the opera?
Rather dull, truth be told.
Shall we be off then?
Aye. To Fleet and Bride.
By your command.
Fascinating. Gentlemen, I hold in my hand a key. And if this book is to be believed, it will open the doors of a storehouse built by those who came before.
Ah, yes. Those who ruled, reigned, and vanished from the world. Do we know what it is that will be held within?
It could contain certain knowledge. Perhaps a weapon, or something as yet unknown, unfathomable in its construction and purpose. It could be any of these things, or none of them. They are still an enigma, these precursors. But of one thing I am certain. Whatever waits behind those doors shall prove a great boon to us all.
Or our enemies, should they find it first.
They won't. You've seen to that.
I assume you know where this storehouse is?
Ah, Mr. Harrison.
Gentlemen.
How fare your calculations?
I believe the site lies somewhere within this region.
That's a lot of ground to cover.
My apologies. Were that I could be more accurate.
That's all right. It suffices for a start. And that is why we've called you here, Master Kenway. We'd like for you to travel to America, locate the storehouse, and take possession of its contents.
I'm yours to command, although a job of this magnitude will require more than just myself.
Of course. Upon this paper are the names of 5 men sympathetic to our cause. Each is also uniquely suited to aid you in your endeavor. With them at your side, you will want for nothing.
Well, then I'd best be on my way.
I knew our faith in you was not misplaced. We've booked you passage to Boston. Your ship leaves at dawn. Go forth, Hatham, and bring honor to us all.
Some fresh air might do me good.